Hi everyone! I'd like to take a minute before we get started to talk to you about adoption. If you're not interested, please go to the description below and under chapters click the Let's Get Cooking link. It'll take you right to the cooking. As some of you may or may not know, our son Nathan is adopted. So adoption is something near and dear to our family's heart. And November is National Adoption Month. Before each video this month, I'm going to share with you a video that promotes a hopeful adoptive family from an adoption support group that my wife and I are part of. The group helps families pre- and post-adoption with questions, emotional support, friendship. It's a great group. Most of these families are going down the path of what's called private adoption. Private adoption is where you promote yourself, whether it be in social media, print advertisements in newspapers, or other online venues, in the hopes that an expectant mother who is thinking about placing their child for adoption finds the match with their hopeful adoptive family. Please watch this video, and if you know somebody who's expecting and thinking about placing the child for adoption, please share this video with them. There's also a link in the description below to this hopeful Hello and welcome to Ben's Ramblings, recipes, reviews, and ramblings. Today we're going to make tomato soup and a fantastic grilled cheese. Let's get started. We're going to start off with 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 4 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to get this olive oil warm and the butter melted down, and then we're going to add 1 large onion diced. The butter's all melted and the oil is nice and hot. We're going to add our 1 large onion diced. It's about 3 cups. We just want to sweat these onions down. We don't want them to brown. So we'll let them go for a little while on low heat. The onions are all translucent. I'm going to add in 3 cloves of garlic, finely minced. We want to make sure that doesn't burn. So I want to do this soup because I love tomato soup and grilled cheese. We're getting into the fall, it's getting cool. Grilled cheese and tomato soup are a perfect combination for a nice cold fall day. The garlic's cooked down, we want to make sure that doesn't burn, and at this point we're going to add in 1/4 cup of flour. We'll stir that in well. That's going to act as a thickening agent. So with the oil, it'll make a little bit of a roux. Stir this around. Get it mixed all in well with the onions and the garlic. We want to cook this for 1 to 2 minutes so that the flour cooks. You don't want the raw flour in there. All right. Once this cooks, we're going to add 2 cans of San Marzano tomatoes. You could use crushed tomatoes. I don't stock crushed tomatoes for this. I typically keep whole peeled tomatoes in cans. They're a lot more versatile. You could take them, you can crush them up yourself. We're going to puree this later with the immersion blender. So I'm just going to put the whole tomatoes in with the juice that's in the cans, and then we'll puree everything with the immersion blender later. If you don't have an immersion blender, you could let this cool a little bit, put it in a regular blender and blend it in a regular blender. You just have to make sure that it's not hot or you could blow the top off the blender and splatter it all over your ceiling. The flour is cooked now. I'm going to add to this the 2 28-ounce cans of tomatoes, 6 cups of chicken broth, 2 tablespoons of sugar, a half a teaspoon of dried thyme, and some salt and pepper. So there's our tomatoes. Here's our 6 cups of chicken broth. We'll add half a teaspoon of thyme and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Salt and pepper. Stir that all in, and we're going to let this simmer for a while now. We're going to reduce this to low. I'm going to put the cover on, and it's going to simmer for 30 minutes. We'll see you in 30 minutes. The soup's been simmering for 30 minutes or so. It looks great. We're going to take the immersion blender and blend it all up. All right, I'm just gonna check it, make sure I don't see any big chunks of tomato in there. It looks nice and creamy, nice and smooth. Just pop this off here and throw it right in the sink. Let's give the soup a taste and see if it needs any more salt and pepper. That's pretty good. I think maybe a little more salt and definitely some more pepper. And we're gonna finish the soup with 2 tablespoons of butter. So throw that in. That butter will act as a thickener. It'll also give the soup a nice gloss. At this point, the soup is basically done, but you could simmer it a little longer to thicken up the soup if that's how you prefer it. But what goes better with tomato soup than a ooey gooey grilled cheese? I'm gonna make a grilled cheese using some bread that I made in my bread machine the other day. We're going to use 4 different kinds of cheeses. We're going to use Munster, Gouda, some grated smoked cheddar that I got when we were upstate a couple weeks ago, and some nice imported Italian Parmigiano Reggiano. All right, let's get started on that grilled cheese. I've got 2 nice big slices of that homemade bread I told you about. I've got it buttered on one side. We're going to start with a slice each. Or 2 slices of Gouda, I should say. Then I've got some finely grated Parmigiano Reggiano. We'll spread that around. This is some finely grated smoked cheddar cheese that I got when we were in upstate New York, apple and pumpkin picking. And then last, we're going to put some Munster. And I've got it on nice and low, and I'm going to just cover it so that that cheese starts melting. Because it's a lot of cheese on there. We want to get that nice and melted. The cheese is starting to melt. I'm going to put the other side on, and we'll flip it over. All right, we'll let it go some more. All right, I'm just gonna double check the other side, but I think the grilled cheese is done. Both sides nice and golden brown. Let's get this off. The cheese looks nice and melted. Let's see how this grilled cheese looks. That looks great. Let's try it with the soup. I added some croutons and fresh basil to the bowl. You could also add some cream and make it a cream of tomato soup, or add some rice. A lot of versatility. This is a great base to build on. Dunk that grilled cheese and give it a try. Oh my God, so good. That is absolutely fantastic. Please give the recipe a try. If you do, comment down below, let me know how you like it. If you like the idea, give it a thumbs up. And as always, please subscribe and ring that bell to be notified of any new recipes. Thanks for watching. See you next time.